Will the Winnipeg Jets remain undefeated? We'll break down their game today against the Toronto Maple Leafs here on PuckTime, powered by WagerTalk TV. We're also going to talk Predators, Lightning, Flames, Vegas Golden Knights. We have the ladder challenge segment as Carm continues to climb the ladder, the prop playbook segment as well, and best bets at the end. Carm, it's Monday, but it's actually a jam-packed Monday in the NHL. How are you?
I'm good, Andrew. Decent weekend, but that's behind us. This is ahead of us. It's going to be a great week. There's NHL, finally, at least three or more great games every single night of the NHL week. This is great. We've got Prez coming in tomorrow, Buster coming in on Wednesday. Brian Leonard is in Arizona, so he won't be on, but it'll be 3 days of you and I chatting. We're going to talk Nashville, Tampa Bay. We're going to talk Toronto, Winnipeg. We're going to do your props segment. Then we're going to talk the Flames and the Golden Knights in the last game of the night. Then we'll talk the ladder challenge. Can we complete the ladder challenge tonight? We'll find out shortly. And then we'll do our best bet segment as well too. Guys, if you like the content on this channel, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Join the ever-growing community here at WagerTalk. Drop a comment in the live chat. Or if you're watching this a little later on one of our platforms, drop a comment in there. We always try and get back to you guys when we can. Andrew, I'm looking forward to it. And we got a great promo. I'm going to mention that right off the top. NHL, $149 for 30 days of NHL from your favorite capper. That is a great deal, less than $5 a day. But with that said, Andrew, guess who
And real quick,
returns to Tampa Bay? Okay, Gary, go ahead.
sorry, Carm. Just wanted to say that starts at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. So if you're looking for that right now, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I think that's tonight it starts, late tonight. So just wanted to clarify that so people aren't panicking when they're going to look for it tonight. But go ahead. I know you had a really good intro for that next game. I'm looking forward to the
Panicking, but
storyline.
yes, I get it. The storyline is great, guys. Come on. Steven Stamkos returning to Tampa Bay. You know, the fan base there is going to give him a warm welcome. This isn't like any other player returning where, you know, they put the tribute up on the screens. He's in the pregame and he probably gets booed. None of that is happening to Stamkos tonight. Anyone who boos should be beat up by fellow Tampa Bay Lightning fans because this guy has been part of two Stanley Cup teams for them, got them to the Stanley Cup finals that third year, although they failed to win that one. A true legend and a Hall of Famer returning. But Andrew, I'm going to surprise you here. This price right now is 135 for Tampa, plus 115 for Vegas, and for Nashville. When we talk about starting goalies, so it should be Saros and Vasilevsky because Tampa Bay does not play again until Wednesday night, so they've got a day off in between. And Nashville does not play until Thursday, 2 nights in between games. So you got to see the number ones here tonight. I'd be surprised if they went to any backups here. And I've talked about this Nashville team. They start off 0-5. The beginning of the ladder challenge was Nashville against the Boston Bruins because it was a bad scheduling spot for the Bruins. And then I took Nashville their next couple of games, both games they were supposed to win, both games that they did win. This is their first true test. Now they're playing a Tampa Bay team that has been good this season, but is also one that's lost heading into that 3-0 win over Washington on the weekend. They had lost 3 of their last 4 games. This is a good one, but this is one in which it's finally a test for Nashville to see if they are back to where a lot of people were expecting them to be. I would like a bigger price on this one, but I like the Preds. I think they're a live dog. We're getting plus money here, plus 115. And that's where I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to take the Preds plus 115 in the return of Stamkos to Florida. Andrew, can you talk me off that play, or are you following along?
I love it. No, I will not talk you off that. I like that price. And I think it's a good point by you as well. It's kind of like a time. This is a good opportunity for the Predators to figure out who they are, what kind of team they are. You know, the Predators are a team that I think that needed some time to gel. And I think a lot of people overreacted to their slow start. So kudos to you for both Colorado and Nashville, Carm. It seems like you jumped on at the perfect time for both those teams, and they started playing much better hockey. But Tampa Bay as well. Let's not forget, Tampa Bay is a team that people had kind of like written off going into the season. They were like the third or fourth highest odds to win the Atlantic Division. They were, I think, what 21-1 to win the Stanley Cup. It's crazy. Look at the goalie they have. Look at the superstars they have. Like, I don't usually say this type of stuff, but if Kucherov was playing in a more, even though they've won so many Stanley Cups in Tampa Bay, if you put Kucherov on the New York Rangers, he has way more publicity. You put Kucherov on, even like, obviously a Canadian market like Edmonton, Toronto, those type of teams, they get more attention. I think the fact that Kucherov, even though Tampa has been so good, he is such a superstar. People are sleeping on this team, Carm. It's going to be a real good one. But like you said, I like that underdog value. But the play I'm going to go with here is under 6.5. I know it is juice to the under, but I just love the fact that we're getting the 6 and the hook here in this one. And inherently, it's two teams that should be good defensive teams. It should be two teams that have good goaltenders. It should be teams that know how to play defensive and playoff hockey during the regular season, as funny as that might sound. If we're talking about the analytics and expected goals for, we have to talk sometimes about expected goals allowed. And you have a Nashville team that ranks number 5 in the whole league in expected goals allowed. And you have Tampa Bay that ranks number 9 in the league in expected goals allowed. And this is a Tampa Bay team that was involved in, what was it, Carm, the other day, like an 8-5 game or something like that. It was a crazy game. But based on what the true numbers are saying in the analytical department, is that these teams should actually be seeing games go under the total a lot more than they're going over. With these teams, I think it's going to be a real tight matchup. They don't know a lot about each other. They don't really play each other a lot over the last few years. But with the storyline you mentioned, this game will mean something, especially for the Predators, to try and get that win for Steven. I'm going to go under 6.5 in this one. So this will definitely be a game I'm watching. I look forward to watching this one here, Carm.
It's going to be a good one, Andrew. As much as I would like to say I'm going to be watching this game tonight, and a lot of the NHL games, I probably will only be watching the late games, Andrew. And you want to know why, Andrew? Because tonight I'm hanging with Nikola Jokic. Dude, I'm going to the Denver Toronto Raptors game.
Nice.
I'm not a huge basketball fan, but Toronto FC, our soccer team that missed the playoffs for yet the zillionth time, they have a box at the game. It's a gondola box, so it is. They have different boxes, but these are called gondola boxes. And they gave me 2 tickets to tonight's game. They're having a big function tonight. My wife wants to go. She hates basketball, but she feels like some of the players might be coming to the box. Not some of the basketball players, but some of the soccer players. So she doesn't want to give up the chance of going to the game, having some free food and drinks. So we're heading to the Raptors game, but I'm sure they'll have the Leafs game on there against the Winnipeg Jets in the suite. So I'll catch a little bit of that one. Andrew, it's going to be a good night there. You know they're going to do the tribute to Stamkos. They have to do the tribute to Stamkos because these are teams that only play. They only play twice a season, and I think they split last year's season series, each team winning convincingly at home. So we'll see what happens tonight. But let's take the short plus money here. Hopefully Stamkos can get one of those power play goals from the face-off circle. Face-off dot that he scored so many times for that Tampa Bay team. Speaking of scoring, Andrew, the Winnipeg Jets are doing enough of it, and their defense is playing well enough that this team has won 8 games in a row, Andrew. Winnipeg, and yet, look at this line. Winnipeg and Toronto. Winnipeg Jets, -115. Toronto, -105. Andrew, I'm going to ask you a question first because I want to go to you because I'm doing way too much talking. Wednesday, okay, are you ready for this little bit of trivia? Wednesday,
Okay.
November 23rd, 2022. A certain arena was littered with just everything you could throw. Fans were throwing on the ice after 3 goals were disallowed. Do you remember what game that was and why it was such an important game?
I don't.
That's a little bit. I threw you a loop there, buddy. The New Jersey Devils' 13-game winless streak came to an end um, with 3 disallowed goals and the Toronto Maple Leafs beating them, stopping that 13-game winning streak game. And here are the Leafs heading into Winnipeg. The Jets are 8-0, Andrew. And look at this line. Winnipeg is only minus 115. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, Carm, it's funny because you want to practice what you preach, right? And here I am all season long so far talking about how lately I'm one to not go against streaks, right? You don't want to catch the falling knife. You don't want to also, step in front of a team playing some really good hockey right now. But I'm going to, because I think this is a really good number on the Maple Leafs. I don't think I've played the Maple Leafs all season so far. I don't think I've bet them on the money line. And how about that Atlantic Division right now, Carm? I wish we could pull up the standings. Maybe we'll do that this week at some point. But you've got, I think, like 5 or 6 teams that have a 4-4-1 record. It's unbelievable. The Maple Leafs, the Buffalo Sabres, the Montreal Canadiens, the Detroit Red Wings. So many of these teams are pretty much the Boston Bruins, I believe. They're locked in around the exact same position. But here's the deal. As much as I make my jokes about the Maple Leafs, it's fine to have some adversity early in the season and face some stuff like this, like what they're doing the past couple of games. But I love the fact that they're playing the Winnipeg Jets after they just lost to the Boston Bruins in overtime. And anybody that watched that game knows it was a brutal play in overtime, a very weird ending after Matthews, sends it to overtime, then a bad turnover. Marner goes for a change. Matthews throws the puck to nobody, and it's a 2-on-1 for the Bruins, and that's all they needed. This, to me, is almost better. Like, let's say the Leafs would have won 5-1 against the Bruins on Saturday night. With how up and down they are mentally, I'm not sure if I'd want to jump in on the Maple Leafs tonight. But they're going to be ready to roll. I think Berube, if there's one thing people can say about him, he'll have this team locked in. It has been a couple rough games in a row for them. Even more importantly, I'm kind of concerned about the Leafs' power play with all the weapons that they have out there. I'm shocked that they have not done better on the power play. But looking at this Winnipeg Jets team, they've defeated good teams. They've come back when they were down in certain games. There's no denying it. They've gotten off to a good start. The biggest thing for them is that people don't think they have depth. And so far this year, they have been a pretty deep team. But I think this is kind of a star-studded lineup they're going to face. That if the Leafs get some decent goaltending tonight, Carm, I think they get the job done. And this is from one of those perspectives, and you kind of segued it to me with this, and I'll go back to you here. When people say this, hey, how is this team undefeated? They're playing a team that's 4-4-1, and they're only minus 115 at home. Like, I don't know how much people care about home ice advantage anymore, but if they're minus 115 at home, then what are the Maple Leafs if they're playing at home in this game? Because I don't know. I think that if you see a weird line like this, it probably tells you which the right side is, and it's not the team that's undefeated. It's the Maple Leafs to get the job done. So I'm stepping in front of it, putting myself on the line here. I think the Leafs will end the streak for the Jets tonight. And the funny thing is, can they really celebrate that much? Because they lost to the Blue Jackets, the Blues, the Bruins. They're struggling as well. So they need this win, Carm.
I'm going to be I'm just going to be a little graphic for a second. Maybe Dan, the producer, wants to hit that mute button. But man, this Leafs team to me this year has been like a flaming case of like hemorrhoids, man. What is it with this team? The 6-60 on Friday goes 3-3. The Leafs, I have the under 6.5 in that game. The Leafs score with a minute left on a tic-tac-toe play. Austin Matthews scores 3-3, sends it to overtime, kills my under 6.5, and then he gives up the puck and they lose the game 4-3 in OT. The New York Rangers missed 4 open nets or 3 open nets. That was another one. It could have been a 5-1, 6-60. It was a 3-3. So that's in the past. We'll try and be better. But I just don't get this Leafs team. Andrew, and here's the thing: is I'm the same train of thought as you. They're minus 105 in a game. I think they price it this way because they know that Toronto has enough stars on that team that if these guys show up, they should win games. Joseph Wall's scheduled to start. Hellbuck is confirmed to be starting, so he's the only goalie I've seen confirmed thus far of the ones that we're discussing. But would it surprise me if Winnipeg wins tonight? No, not at all. They're finding ways to win. They went into Seattle as a game in which I thought was a bad spot for Winnipeg. The game goes to OT, and Winnipeg wins it in OT. When I had Seattle at plus money, they play Calgary. They're trailing in that game as well too. They end up winning that game and winning it 5-3. So they're finding ways to win. Good teams find ways to win. Will they do tonight remains to be seen. But to your point of Craig Berube, I think he didn't know, and he's finding out very quickly that there are a lot of problems with this Toronto Maple Leafs team, despite the fact that they have plenty of talent on it. He'll right the ship. I'm not ready to start trying to get this guy fired like I did with with our buddy in Florida for 2 years. I'm like, this guy, Paul Maurice, he's got to go. Yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go to the Stanley Cup one year and then win the Stanley Cup the next. That's how much I know about NHL coaching. Give me the Leafs minus 105, Andrew. I'm with you, and we'll see tomorrow if we have regrets on this one. With that said, Andrew, I'm going to toss it to you. I'm going to take a break because you got props and your props are hitting. So give us 3 for tonight that are going to make us some money.
I'm looking forward to these, Carm. I like these ones quite a bit here. It's the prop playbook segment for Monday, a jam-packed segment in the NHL on Monday. Nice to have a handful of games here, guys, on this Monday. Let's go over 3.5 shots on goal for Verhaeghe, Carter Verhaeghe for the Florida Panthers. Love that plus 108 number. Love getting plus prices on these prop bets. You take a look at Verhaeghe, 4 straight games for him. He's gone over. No such thing as a Stanley Cup hangover for this Florida Panthers team. They're looking pretty good, and despite some injuries they had to deal with, they're still a team that's offensively sound. They're playing some good hockey, and a player prop that I want to be on quite often is Carter Verhaeghe shooting the puck. He's not much of a passer, I will say. He's mostly a shooter, so we'll go over 3.5 shots on goal at that nice plus price. The next one is one that I've mentioned multiple times, and I think Carmine has also mentioned on the show as well. And we're going to go back to it because if it's not broken, let's not try and fix it. We're going to go with Alex Tuch over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 120. This guy continues to go over this number, especially at home. 4 straight games for him at home. He has gone over 2.5 shots on goal. Of course, if people remember, he came over in that trade from the Vegas Golden Knights that sent Jack Eichel over to Vegas. Look, he might not be the most flashy goal scorer by any means, but the Buffalo Sabres need something out of him. They need him to be kind of a weapon offensively, and hopefully he can provide that by getting us at least 3 shots on goal tonight. And the last one, because people always say, hey, you can't only do overs. You got to give me some unders here. Well, we're going to go under 1.5 points for Mikko Rantanen from the Colorado Avalanche. It's minus 135, but you're asking a player to get 2 points on his own. And here's the deal. They're playing the Chicago Blackhawks. They're playing a weak team. So everybody's going to think that, oh, they're playing a bad team. They have to get a ton of goals. This Avalanche team, guys, when they got this, favorable schedule, we'll call it, of 4 or 5 games in a row against weaker teams, they're not putting up goals in bunches. They're not scoring 4, 5, 6 goals a game. They're just finding a way to get it done. And it's been multiple guys. It's been the whole team collectively getting the job done. So over 1.5 points, no thank you. We'll go under 1.5 points for Mikko Rantanen from the Avalanche for today's prop segment. All right, Carm, those are 3 plays I like for tonight. And we had to mix in that under because people are always getting after me saying we're only giving out overs here. So had to mix that one in.
Yeah. Listen, I get it. It's Andrew, but like across all sports, there's trends. There's numbers throughout the years that you sort of need to follow. It's kind of like just on a quick side note, the NFL, and wanting to take overs. I talked to Ralph Michaels a couple days ago, and Ralph told me, like NFL unders this season, and that was heading into this past weekend's games. NFL unders were hitting at a 53% clip. So, which obviously means overs are hitting at a 47% clip. So, taking overs with a negative number may not be the best thing. We all like overs. We all like favorites. We all like overs. I'm not saying specifically, but this is how they build those beautiful, shiny, brand new casinos each and every year in Vegas because no one likes to cheer for nothing to happen in a game. Quite frankly, think about
Yeah,
it. An
exactly.
NHL under, do people want to watch a game and say, God, I hope this guy doesn't score, or I hope this power play doesn't click? But anyways, Andrew, I'm hoping you win with these three plays tonight. The Tuck one, especially because he's a Sabres guy. And speaking of winning, I hope this guy wins tonight. Don Buster, our regular Wednesday guest, has a 5% play up in tonight's action. You can find that over on his page at WagerTalk. So show Buster a little love, head over to WagerTalk and pick up his 5% NHL play for tonight. Andrew, we got one more game on the card. Cue it up.
Yeah, let's talk Vegas and let's talk Calgary here. The Golden Knights, it feels like this team has been at home for the entire season, Carm. I can't remember the last time they were on the road, but another home game at the Fortress at T-Mobile for this Golden Knights team. And the Flames, hey, don't look now, but they're having a decent season themselves, Carm. And I just talked about people asking me to bet unders, and you just mentioned that people like watching games and enjoying the overs. Well, you know what? Give me the over in this game because I want to bet on goals between the Flames and the Golden Knights. The defenses coming into this season, I was a little bit iffy about, because Vegas lost a few people, Calgary lost a few people. They're also a little bit short as far as their depth is concerned. And when you take a look at the Vegas Golden Knights, I could not believe this, but of the entire league so far on the season, Vegas, as far as expected goals allowed, ranks the third highest. I mean, their defensive numbers are not good. They're actually getting bailed out by goaltending in some spots. And the Flames, to me, are a team that seems to always be giving up breakaways every single time. Their penalty kill is not ranking high in the league right now. And you take a look at them recently, some of the games they've played, they've kind of gotten lucky in the fact that some of those games have even been close. So short and simple, over 6.5. Until I'm proven otherwise, this Vegas team isn't over. Whether they're playing the Ducks, whether they're playing the Oilers, whether they're playing the Flames, this is a team that's involved in high-scoring contests, especially at home. And I always say to you, Carm, how much do we really care about home ice anymore? I don't know about you, but Vegas is one that I kind of have circled. I think Vegas is a team. Carolina is a team. I think the New York Rangers are a team. There's only a handful of teams I really care about playing at home. And the Vegas Golden Knights just seem to score more goals when they play in front of their home fans.
You are correct, Andrew. When you talk about scoring goals in front of their home fans, they have played 6 home games thus far. They have scored 34 goals. That's like something like what, 5.6 goals per game, a little over 5.6 goals per game. They're almost hitting the over themselves thus far, Andrew. But the Flames can be the sort of that fly in the ointment for this Vegas team. We saw it last year. They came to Vegas a couple times, took them to OT once, losing 5-4 in OT, then coming back and beating them 3-1. And I think that 3-1 game against Vegas, I believe, was the tail end of the dad's trip, I think, in Vegas. So I'm going to find out about those dad trips, by the way. But Calgary has won in Vegas before. They play well in Vegas. Are they a live dog? I don't know, plus 145. I think the way Vegas is scoring goals right now, you'd have to give me a little bit more than plus 145 to want to take them. But the interesting thing here is, and I talked about it in some free plays that I put out on the weekend at WagerTalk, and I put out some free plays pretty much every single night of the NHL season this year, other than last week where there was only one game, Washington and Philadelphia. I've put out free plays in the NHL, so you can find them over at WagerTalk in the free play section, of course, and on my page. But the Vegas Golden Knights, Andrew, this year, first period overs, 9 games, 8-1 to the over in the first period. At home, 6-0 to the over at home with the first period overs. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to take the over 1.5 minus 140 in this game, first period. It's the late game. I'll be back from the Raptors getting shellacked by the Denver Nuggets. Watch the first period of this game and then go to sleep and get ready for Tuesday's puck time with Prez. Give me over 1.5 minus 140, Andrew. What do you think?
And when Prez is on puck time, you always need a good sleep. You need to be well rested. You need to be in a good mood. You got to be ready for him. So make sure you do that, Carm. But yeah, I'm with you. You know what? And the funny thing is, people used to be scared to lay chalk like that. It's not really chalk. Minus 140. Look at the rate these are hitting. You're right. Over 1.5 goals. And the best part about it, you are never out of it. You are never out of it. I've seen so many first period overs cash with like a minute and a half to go or the final remaining seconds. It could literally be 0-0 with 10 minutes to go and you get 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. I mean, you are never out of it with these first period plays. And Carm, I got to give you credit, man, because you wanted to create a segment. You wanted to create a segment daily. You talked about doing the ladder challenge for like 2 years now. And you're like, all right, it's time to stop messing around. We're going to do this. And just like that, you've been climbing the ladder, my friend. I'm curious, out of the decent slate we have today on Monday, what are you going with for your ladder play today?
Yeah, so we're 3 for 3 on the ladder challenge. So today's play will be 6:30. Obviously, the ladder challenge is always all in. So it's going to be a 6:30 play to get us over the 1K mark. And that will end the ladder challenge because I said it was 1K or bust. And then on tomorrow's show, I'm going to get you guys to drop some different charity names. I have a couple ideas myself as well too on what to do with half of those winnings. Half I'll bank for future ladder challenges, which will start right after this one hits, hopefully tonight, and the other half will go to charity. Andrew, the ladder play on this one, I am going to go back to the Edmonton Oilers. Yes, they played yesterday. They got the win. I said this team would start to play better, and they're doing exactly what they need to do. They're playing the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I get it. That line is high, but I'm taking them in regulation. I think the Oilers get it done in 60 minutes. Picard started yesterday, allowed a goal on the very first shot, but the Oilers were able to eventually come back and get the win in that one. And that means it's their number one goalie tonight, Skinner, in goal. I'm going to take the Edmonton Oilers in regulation minus 150. So it's 630 to win 420, which puts us at 1050, which surpasses the 1K mark. So let's see if we can get the final step of that ladder challenge tonight with the Edmonton Oilers in regulation time at minus 150.
Awesome. I'll be cheering you on, Carm. I'll be cheering it on. Great stuff. Great stuff. And yeah, I love the charity stuff as well, Carm. So finish that off. Keep climbing that ladder. And we tried doing it near the end of the year last year. And I'll tell you what, you've gotten off to a way better start than you and I did when we teamed up together. So keep things going. And yeah, just a reminder for everybody at home, the special that Carmine mentioned earlier in the show, $149 for a month of NHL or NBA. Of course, that's an or. It's not for both. You pick the sport you want at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight at WagerTalk.com. And you can get 30 days of any sport for $149. So if you guys want to join us for 30 days of NHL action, that's the best way to do it, is to use that special. No promo code needed. It will be posted to everybody's profile pages at WagerTalk.com. So can't wait for that. I'm looking forward to it. And Carmen, you and I always talk about collecting some data, getting to know these teams. I think here we are, October 28th. We've gotten to know some of these teams by now a little bit. And now we figured out which teams are legit, which teams maybe are overachieving, underachieving. And we're looking forward to going on a good run, the both of us, over the next few weeks in the NHL. So people can join us for that. I'll keep it short and simple for me, Carm. My best bet's going to be the Maple Leafs tonight at the minus 105 price. It's my show play here, and it also will be a small client play, so I'll give that out as well. I just think this is a real good spot for them to to spoil the party in Winnipeg. The Maple Leafs are not coming into this game feeling happy, not entering this game proud of themselves. They're off some bad losses, losing to the Blues, losing to the Boston Bruins. This is a team that will not be, motivated or will not be happy, I should say. They will be motivated going into this game. And I think that Winnipeg at this point right now might be feeling a little bit satisfied, as we saw a little glimpse of that on Saturday night. So give me the Leafs minus 105. What do you have for us, Carm, over at WagerTalk?
Yep. Before I get there, guys, do us a favor. I think there's about close to 160 watching live right now. Hit that like button. We've got like 39 or 40 likes. It helps us, helps obviously the Wager Talk YouTube channel. So please do that. Andrew, good luck with the Leafs play tonight. There'll probably be one. I wish you could bet disallowed goals. There's probably going to be one kind of like that game back in November in New Jersey. Will there be a disallowed goal plus 500? I would take that bet for a slice of pizza. Maybe we'll have a pizza slice segment as well too, some point down the line. Although Dan, the producer, says we have too many segments. With that said, Andrew, NFL package up for tonight. Last 4 Mondays in NFL, 15-4 with NFL plays and props. 3 plays up. You can get them over at WagerTalk. An NHL 2-pack up for tonight as well too, coming off a 2-1 day on Sunday. And I have a play for a Tuesday in MLS soccer. It is at 5%. I call it the Golazo play. I had one on Saturday. The LA Galaxy 5-0 winners. That play was never in doubt. We're going to follow that up with another 5% winner on Tuesday. You can get all of those at Wager Talk, and of course as Andrew said, that great promo going on that goes live tonight. My free play on the show is going to be that game we talked about at the top of the show, which is the Nashville Predators plus 115. The return of Steven Stamkos. Come on, Stevie, do one for us. Get a couple of goals tonight. Get the win for the Preds, and let's cash a money line dog bet to start the week off. Guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Drop a comment in the comment section below throughout the day if you're watching, and we'll try and get to those questions if you have any. But for myself, Dallin Alexander, our great producer, and Andrew McInnes, fantastic co-host, I'm Carmine Bianco signing off. We'll see you on Tuesday.